Okay, hello everyone and welcome. Let's see, my name's Eloisa Ramos and I'm here with my friend Connie. Hi, Connie. And we are continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles. We are beginning a new chapter and it's the forgiveness and the holy relationship. It's chapter 17. Um, and let's see, we're going to start with section 1. Here we go. Bringing fantasy to truth. Okay. Okay, paragraph 1. The betrayal of the Son of God lies only in illusions, and all his quote unquote sins are but his own imagining. His reality is forever sinless. He need not be forgiven, but awakened. In his dreams, he has betrayed himself, his brothers, and his God. Yet what is done in dreams has not been really done. It is impossible to convince the dreamer that this is so, for the dreams are what they are because of their illusion of reality. Only in waking is the full release from them, for only then does it become perfectly apparent that they had no effect upon reality at all and did not change it. Fantasies change reality. That is their purpose. They cannot do so in reality, but they can do so in the mind that would have reality be different. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So the beliefs that we have as far as perceiving ourselves to be a separate self, as an ego or a body in time is a dream. And it's hard to see that because we do perceive physical objects and things to be what we have learned to call reality. Um, so the waking up from the dream is really a whole change in perception, um, so that reality is eternal, spirit, God, forever changeless, um, completely loving, unconditionally loving, obviously sinless, uh, you know, um, and and therefore everything else is a fantasy. So it's really turning everything upside down from what we have conditioned ourselves to, and from what we learn to believe. Um, so so we have not done anything. We have not done any of the quote unquote um, offenses or betrayals or attacks on God. Okay, so none of that has happened. So that's why 3 says he need not be forgiven, but awaken. Yeah. And I mean, we start out in the course with our only purpose is to forgive. Okay. And we start with that because we really do believe that we are sinful and that we need forgiveness. Um, but the this is the bringing of fantasy to truth. So this is now taking us to where the mind begins to see that everything that it is forgiving is not real. Okay, so all the undoing, the healing of the mind is an undoing of illusion. So everything that we forgive is an illusion. We don't forgive it because it really happened. We forgive it because, it's what my brother did not do. Um, line 4, only in his dream he has betrayed himself, his brothers, and his God. Okay. And what is done in dream has not been really done. But 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 while we are still dreaming and believe we are the dreamer, um, we have a hard time. Let's see. We have a hard time believing that what we're seeing with the body's eyes is not the truth. Because we trust what we see, you know. Um, I I'll believe it when I see it. That's what a lot of us say. So, and and now to believe what we're seeing is to be completely wrong about everything. So, okay. And so we think that what we do, fantasies, change reality. So we think that we have impact with what we do in the world. That's why we're so action driven and I got to do this, I got to do that. I got to save myself or I got to save them or if I don't do this, bad things will happen. Or we just think um, that what we do matters, you know, and it doesn't. But because it's all a dream. Um, and but the purpose of fantasies is to convince the mind that yes, the doer, the action figure is the self, the body, and to keep identified with that fantasy of being limited and here only for a short time and then, you know, die. So we have to keep trying to protect this fragile thing, self that we made up. Okay. Um, Connie?
It is then only your wish to change reality that is fearful, because by your wish you think you have accomplished what you wish. This strange position, in a sense, acknowledges your power, yet by distorting it and devoting it to evil, it also makes it unreal. You cannot be faithful to two masters who ask conflicting things of you. What you use in fantasy, you deny to truth. Yet what you give to truth to use for you is safe from fantasy.
Okay. Okay, so um, when we look at the world, okay, we believe that we are seeing something that has reality in and of itself. Okay. But it is a projection, and the projection is an interpretation of what we want to see in the world because it is what we believe about the world. So the minute that we have a choice on what to believe. That's why there's so many different beliefs in the world, okay? And we up to a certain point, I mean, we're you could say indoctrinated or conditioned. Okay, we grow up in a family and those are just kind of the beliefs we grow up with. So that's what we take for granted. But then after a certain point, we begin to question that. We begin to say, well, wait a minute, we're exposed to other people. I know that when I went to college, I began to see that, oh, okay, not everybody believes that, premarital sex is a sin. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, we're exposed. We have friends that have beliefs that are different. So then we begin to really question and say, well, okay, well, why do I believe this? You know, um, is it really true? And so when we begin to look at our beliefs, okay, we we can start to see that our perception of the world comes from what we believe about the world. Okay. So that the belief comes first. It's not the perception that comes first, and then we make our beliefs. Okay. Although most of us operate that way because we really do think that the external world is causal and that we react to it and are therefore kind of in effect. So we've abdicated the power of the mind that is the one making up the dream, having the dream. Okay. And we make ourselves a victim that way. Okay. Because I am a victim of my situation. I am a victim of my circumstances. I have no control. Things happen in the world, you know. And it's as if I was just watching it happen and had nothing to do with it. Okay. So from that position, my mind is powerless to change it. Okay. Um, so then my beliefs, what about my beliefs? Then do they have power or don't they have power? You know, why bother with anything if I have no power here? Um, so um, so the wish is really the wish is to change the truth of what we are. And what we are is mind. Mind given power to create like its creator, because we have a creator that is powerful, and that's where all power comes from. It's creative power. Okay. So so if we are the son of God, if we are a child of God, then we share in that power. There's no way to not to, you know, because it's a like for like sharing. Um, so so to believe that reality is anything other than how God created it, okay, is to wish to change it. Okay. So so to to believe anything other than that our true nature and everyone's true nature as a creation of God is holy, loving, and joyous and peaceful is really to wish to change reality, because what we're saying is that God is not that way, that God is not peaceful, that God is not, eternal love, that okay, so that's the wish to try to change reality. Um, and because of your wish, you think you have accomplished what you wish. Okay. And because we have that wish, what it means is that we are we're judging in some way. We have judged um, our situation, uh, how we are, how others are. We have judged them, and we have rejected them in some way. We have judged them and said, no, this is not good enough. This is not the way I want it. There's something wrong here. God made a mistake, you know. And so once we do that, then we have our own idea about how things, quote unquote, should be. And then we we forget that everything works for good, and we are no longer trusting in a higher power. We are basically we have a will of our own now, and that's what we're following. So that's the ego. That's the idea of I just made a separate self, an ego, and I believe I'm on my own. I believe I'm separate from God, and I believe that I have accomplished that wish. Okay, because those beliefs are going to show me that it's a projection of my thinking. So um, and this position acknowledges your power. So yeah, so that's what happens. Projection makes perception. Okay. Um, and yet by distorting it and devoting it to evil, quote unquote, and by evil we mean something that is opposing the will of God, or something that is not in alignment with the will of God, but has, you know, we believe that there's a power that can oppose the will of God. And we make that up. by deciding and by judging that what God created is imperfect, or wrong, or that there's a um, you know, something other than what God created. But this also makes it unreal because it's all just imagination now. Um, there's no mm, because it's not based on anything other than our own subjective judgment or the way that we were brought up maybe in a collective um, where people have the same beliefs, like maybe a religion or a particular culture or whatever. Um, you cannot be faithful to two masters who ask conflicting things of you. Um, yes. So the two truth cannot be reconciled with illusion. That's what this is saying, that you cannot be faithful to two masters. Okay. Um, and so if we use the body, if we use our the power, if we use the power that God gave us to miscreate, and we use it in fantasy, then we automatically deny the truth by doing that. Okay. And what we give to truth, then we is what is then safe from fantasy. Okay, because the mind, um, let's see, we say that the mind is split, but basically it's not so much that it's split, it's that it cannot hold both the truth and the illusion at the same time, as it go like flip back and forth, because they're not, they're two realms that cannot be reconciled. They don't exist in the same realm. Okay. All right. Number 3. When you maintain that there must be an order of difficulty in miracles, all you mean is that there are some things you would withhold from truth. You believe truth cannot deal with them only because you would keep them from truth. Very simply, your lack of faith in the power that heals all pain arises from your wish to retain some aspects of reality for fantasy. If you but realize what this must do to your appreciation of the whole, what you reserve for yourself, you take away from him who would release you. Unless you give it back, it is inevitable that your perspective on reality be warped and uncorrected. Okay, so so order of difficulty in miracles. Now that's mm, we're used to in working with physicality. We're used to degrees of difficulty, right? I mean, weightlifting, there's degrees of difficulty. Add weight, and some bodies can lift more than others. There's a degree of difficulty in force in picking up, you know. Um, be, okay, so that's part of the physical world, the order of difficulty. Um, but miracles are not part of the physical world. They're out of time. And so one of the first things that the course says about miracles is that they're normal and everyday, and that there is no order of difficulty. Okay, because the miracle is a change in perception, and and to the miracle, uh, there is no little belief and big beliefs. They're just beliefs. Okay, and so sickness is the same thing. It's a denial of the truth. So it doesn't matter if you wake up with a cold or you wake up paralyzed. Okay. The problem is the same. The problem is the belief in separation for both of them. Okay. Uh, because it's a belief in magic. It's a reversal of the cause and effect. Okay, for both of them. So to the miracle, there's no order of difficulty in the undoing of any of the symptoms because it's not the symptoms that are the problem. It's the mind that is holding on to the error of separation that is the problem. And it's the same error. Okay. So, um, and so by making exceptions, by thinking, oh yeah, no, that's not something that can be healed. Cancer can't be healed. Or by making some things, oh yeah, God can heal this, but no, God can't heal that. Okay. Uh, this is what we're doing is that we're keeping some things away from the truth. Okay, so we're making truth um, conditional and not absolute. Um, so so let's see. So it's a lack of faith in the power that heals all pain. Okay. And it's really just a wish to retain some of our own beliefs. Um, and basically worship two masters, like it said above. Um, we want to still hold on to the identity of the body, and the limitations that go with that. So we want to limit the power um, that is infinite. Um, let's see, if you but realize what this must do to your appreciation of the whole. Yeah. So so it so the wholeness of the power of God means that there is nothing, nothing, no exception at all, that's beyond it. Um, yes, and so unless we have that really, really clear in our mind, then the perception is going to be distorted or warped, and it's going to need correction or healing. Okay. Anything, Connie, with that? That seemed to be like a little difficult to process or something.
No, I mean that is a tricky one. Yes, because we want to make different levels of difficulties. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we're into two conflicting places, though. Yeah, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Worshiping the ego rather than truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, number 4.
As long as you would have it so, as long as you would have it so, so long will the illusion of an order of difficulty and miracles remain with you. For you have established this order in reality by giving some of it to one teacher and some to another. And so you learn to deal with part of the truth in one way, and in another way, the other part. To fragment truth is to destroy it by rendering it meaningless. Orders of reality is a perspective without understanding, a frame of reference for reality to which it cannot really be compared at all. Yeah.
Yes. So what happens is once we begin to understand the principles of A Course in Miracles, we still have a lot of attachment to um, sort of to our everyday functioning, let's see, with our identification with the body. So it makes it, uh, let's see, it it keeps us from bringing the whole understanding of the truth and bringing it into the everyday processing and let's see, bringing it all the way down in. into the action, to the action, because we're um, opening the mind to receive the Holy Spirit, understanding. But then we still want to retain some of our own independence and not listen to the Holy Spirit. Um, so it's sort of, opening the mind and then closing the mind. Yeah, so and that's what it's saying. To fragment truth is to destroy it by rendering it meaningless. Um, because what we do is we try to make exceptions to the truth. So we try to bring the truth into the illusion and then make exceptions to it so that we still have our own way. Well, yes, everything is forgivable except that, this is just too much, you know. So we we can only bring the truth up to a certain point, and then, we say, well, no, now, I want an exception here. Um, uh, and so that's the illusion of the order of difficulty in miracles. Um, let's see. Yeah, because we're still not completely convinced that we want to give up um the our ego thought system. We're not completely convinced we want to just follow one teacher. So we're kind of mm, what's the word?
How about straddling?
Okay. Okay, straddling. That's good.
Straddling two ideas that one's not true.
Yeah, and there's a attachment to wanting it to be true because we have a lot of investment
Yeah.
in it. Uh, yeah, it feels as if, we're going to be losing something because we've invested so much into that fantasy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but the mind knows now that it's a fantasy. The mind knows that it's not true. Okay, so it's just self-deception.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
And like
number.
what you said, it's like we're opening the mind and closing the mind, opening it and closing it. That's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So it's like waking up and falling asleep, waking up, falling asleep,
Mm.
falling asleep. Number five. Think you that you can bring truth to fantasy and learn what truth means when the perspective from the perspective of illusions? Truth has no meaning in illusion. The frame of reference for its meaning must be itself. When you try to bring truth to illusions, you are trying to make illusions real and keep them by justifying your belief in them. But to give illusions to truth is to enable truth to teach that the illusions are unreal and thus enable you to escape from them. Reserve not one idea aside from truth, or you establish orders of reality that must imprison you. There is no order in reality because everything there is true. Okay. Um, yes. So the idea of bringing truth to fantasy um, is when we distort the truth to be able to hold on to the fantasy, to the illusion. Um, I was trying to see if I could find an example. So we want to believe maybe that attack is justified, for example. Say I'm really, and maybe I don't want to forgive someone. Maybe I'm really angry at them or something. Okay. And I want to feel justified in my anger because I don't want to let it go. I don't want to forgive them. Um, so, w- w- what I could do is I could say, well, the God of the Old Testament, that God expressed anger. I mean, look at the New Testament. God expressed anger when he went into the church and found throughout the people that were selling there in the marketplace. So he threw them out. So what we're saying is we're trying to say, see, look, divinity is like it's like me, an angry person. Okay. So I'm trying to make God like me instead of saying, okay, God created me and I am like God, and God is completely loving. And because God is completely loving, I am completely loving. And therefore, the anger that I am expressing is unreality. Okay. It's all ego. It's not the truth, you see. So so it has a way of protecting the attack that I want to hold on to instead of um, that's why it uses the word imprisons you because now I'm going to be imprisoned in my own anger. Okay, because I have no way of releasing it without forgiving it. And so I'm actually just hurting myself. I'm going to give myself high blood pressure or whatever effects come from all that stress. So, um, yeah. So to give illusion to truth is to enable truth to teach that the illusions are unreal. And so by doing that, that's the miracle. The miracle is the healing of the mind that undoes all of the illusions. Um, and brings forth the healing effects. So, okay, number 6.
Be willing then to give all you have held outside the truth to him who knows the truth and in whom all is brought to truth. Salvation from separation would be complete or will not be at all. Be not concerned with anything except your willingness to have this be accomplished. He will accomplish it, not you. But forget not this: when you become disturbed and lose your peace of mind because another is attempting to solve his problems through fantasy, you are refusing to forgive yourself for just this same attempt, and you are holding both of you away from truth and from salvation. As you forgive him, you restore to truth what was denied by both of you, and you will see forgiveness where you have given it. Mm.
Mm. Okay, so this is saying that when we are disturbed, so when we are reacting to um and we lose our peace, okay, because nothing can make us lose our peace. It's because we are losing our peace of mind because uh, we think that someone else is causing us to lose our peace of mind. Okay, we're saying, "Oh, I can't be around that person. Um, they're just so annoying. They make me upset." Or, um, okay, what we're saying is that we're refusing to acknowledge, okay, that we are the ones that are attempting to hold on to fantasy. And we're not forgiving ourselves, and that's why we're not forgiving them because we're doing the same thing. So in other words, anything that bothers us, it's only bothering us because we're doing the same thing. So it's a mirror. So that's one of the things I could really see when I was taking care of my mom who had Alzheimer's, and I would get, her behavior, I would get triggered by some of the things she would say, or because um uh well, because she wasn't, it was obvious that she was. Well, here's the thing, it was obvious that she was sick, but at the same time, for a long time, I kept reacting to it. So it almost like it took a year and a half before I completely just accepted, okay, okay, you know, she's in a fantasy world. Okay. And this is that's what it's saying here, right? So be willing, let's see. Yeah. So they're attempting to solve his problem through fantasy. So that's basically what sickness is. Okay. We are attempting to solve our problems through fantasy. Um, and um, and if we react to that fantasy of others, then it's only because we are attempting to do the same thing and we're projecting it. So we're hiding it from ourselves and projecting it and seeing it in others. Um, so we haven't forgiven ourselves for the same thing. Okay. So yeah, so it did take a while to for me to recognize, and then I could see that it was just a feedback loop. So this is how my brother becomes my savior, okay? Because I get to have them mirror back the healing uh, that call for love that's within my own mind. It's a call for love from them, but it's really a call for love from my own mind, because
Mm.
I need to forgive myself for the same thing. So yes, so um, and you are holding both of you away from truth and from salvation. Um, yeah, because that's how we protect the false
Mm.
ideas. And as you forgive him, you restore to truth what was denied by both of you, and you will see forgiveness where you have given it. Okay. Okay, well, that was section one,
Yeah.
bringing fantasy to truth. Yes. So it's really about um let's see, the paragraph was really about the motivation part of it, of not wanting to hold back anything, of just saying, okay, okay, I'm not going to protect any of my, I don't want to be right anymore. Okay, I don't want to protect anything that I learned because it's not true. And
Mm.
so I'm willing to just be wrong all the time and just give it to the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
Um, because when I know that when I was growing up, I had a very, what's the word? There's a, I want to say, it's almost like a little, very feisty, very feisty, personality, like, what's the word? Trying to, you're not going to make me less. I'm going to fight for my rights. I'm going to make sure that you don't step on me or press me or whatever, So there's this little thing that we think is a fighting spirit that we value, and that we think that rebellion and opposition and all of that is good, is good. Fight for love. We use that word, and it's like, wait a minute. How can you fight for love? Fighting is
Mm.
attack. So, so there's a lot
Mm.
of confusion that has to be undone because the world values those things, and we learn to value those things about ourselves. And
Mm.
now, we get to see that uh no, they're actually contradictions, they're actually just meaningless. Um
Mm.
and and that doesn't feel good. Okay? It doesn't feel good to be wrong. Um and that's why we still try to, because there's, pride with it. It feels as if we're going to have to um mm, lose dignity, or lose, we confuse dignity with pride maybe. Definitely, there's a lot of arrogance there, and we have to be willing to be humble and to recognize that we're wrong. And if we really want the truth, um, because that's what heals, and we're tired of being scared and afraid, then, we open the mind and just trust. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay. Okay. All right, Connie, any questions before we stop?
No, that was good.
Okay. All right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, well, all right. Thank you everyone for joining.
Hmm.
And we'll see you next time.
Okay.